Hey there, I'm Mark, in affiliation with Spectrum Pulse, and yeah, things are cooling down for the holidays. Wish it was better. And it's Billboard Breakdown.
I don't remember.
So if there's one reason where I'm a bit grateful for Billboard bringing back a series of holiday songs that we've all heard before, is that it tends to make Billboard Breakdown a bit easier to swallow. You're still going to see some occasional bursts of activity. I actually think that upcoming 21 Savage album in less than 2 weeks, it's going to do more than many will realize, and is very opportunistically timed if it can hit the Hot 100 just right. But for now, things have mercifully slowed down, which allows me to get through my backlog on my main channel, maybe even enjoy more of the holiday season. Wouldn't that be nice for a change? But to kick it all off in earnest, our top 10, where to the surprise of absolutely nobody and driven off the expected huge streaming, we might as well run through the Christmas songs from the top down. All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey reclaiming the number 1 yet again. Last Christmas by Wham up to number 2. Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree by Brenda Lee at number 3. And Jingle Bell Rock by Bobby Helms at number 4. Honestly wish there was a little bit more to say with them, but the holidays tend to be as straightforward as this. Where it might get a little bit more intriguing comes with our next 3, because it's an example of losses being felt, but not exactly at the same pace. So let's start off with Golden from K-pop Demon Hunters holding at number 5, which lost streaming and radio, but actually rebounded just enough positionally and with an added sales boost to keep it above The Fate of Ophelia by Taylor Swift, falling from number 1 to number 6. It's important to highlight the margins game that's going on here. It slipped just enough on the radio and streaming to fall behind Golden. It looks like the industry is actually dumping this faster. And that takes us to Ordinary by Alex Warren at number 7, which actually has more radio than both of them, but is still losing there. It doesn't have nearly enough streaming to actually keep up. And all this is bracketed by, you guessed it, more holiday music, with Santa Tell Me by Ariana Grande at number 8, The Christmas Song by Nat King Cole at number 9, and It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year by Andy Williams at number 10. Where the only somewhat interesting thing is that Williams is getting just enough in other channels to beat out Kelly Clarkson's Underneath the Tree on streaming. I guess that's interesting in terms of where institutional power lies. Maybe there's more there? Anyway, where the charts get a little more intriguing to me comes in the losers and the dropouts, and this is the time when a lot of songs get pushed into recurrency, especially from K-pop Demon Hunters this year, with Soda Pop, Your Idol, and How It's Done are all gone, alongside Man-Child by Sabrina Carpenter, I Got Better by Morgan Wallen, Somewhere Over Laredo by Lainey Wilson, No Broke Boys by Disco Lines and Tinashe, along with Jealous Type by Doja Cat, and Ruin the Friendship by Taylor Swift. They just seeing the expected natural positional losses. Not surprised they're gone. Speaking of which, when you have so many holiday songs reviving, you do get a lot of losers, over a quarter of the Hot 100. So let's start off with more Taylor Swift. Opalite falls to 25, Elizabeth Taylor at 68, Father Figure at 80, Wish List at 84, and The Life of a Showgirl with Sabrina Carpenter at 99, and while we have Sabrina, Tears hit 51. But the interesting story is that because the new recurrency rules require holiday music to have enough to enter the top 50, the losses in that group tend to be positional, like Mutt by Leon Thomas at 20, Folded by Kalani at 26, Choosing Texas by Ella Langley at 27, Daisies by Justin Bieber at 28, Tit for Tat by Tate McRae at 45. She also saw album losses with Nobody's Girl plummeting to 66 and Anything But Love at 88. Then So Easy to Fall in Love by Olivia Dean at 47. She also had a hit for Nice to Each Other at 91. And Don't Mind If I Do by Riley Green and Ella Langley at 52. Looks like Langley had a tough week overall, as Hell at Night with Big X The Plug also fell down to 62. Now the rest tend to be more natural fluctuations, or reflective of trends that might be already in motion, like It Depends by Chris Brown featuring Bryson Tiller hitting 42, or the continued losses for Gabriella by Cat's Eye at 55, or 6 Months Later by Megan Maroney at 59, or Dracula by Tame Impala at 70, or that cover of Traveling Soldier by Cody Johnson and his band at 73. Then we had the gains that lost all their traction, like Where Is My Husband by Ray got muscled back to 53, and What Kind of Man by Parker McCollum hit 89, and rounding it off, well, Wicked, For Good seeing the expected losses, with For Good at 96 and No Good Deed at 97. And you don't need to tell me what's replacing all of this. It's holiday music, so much of it, but there is a return and a gain that are outside of it, which if I thought either were all that interesting, I might give them more attention. But as it is, Sienna by the Marias did manage to slip back at 95 as it's been darting on and off the charts, and the rest are Christmas songs. So going from the bottom up, This Christmas by Donny Hathaway at 50, Winter Wonderland by Darlene Love at 49, Baby It's Cold Outside by Dean Martin at 48, Santa Claus Is Coming to Town by the Jackson 5 at 46, Mistletoe by Justin Bieber at 44, Merry Christmas by Ed Sheeran and Elton John at 43, You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch by Thurl Ravenscraft at 41, and Santa Can't You Hear Me by Kelly Clarkson and Ariana Grande at 40. Then Little Saint Nick by the Beach Boys at 39, Christmas Time Is Here by the Vince Guaraldi Trio at 38, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer by Gene Autry at 37, Holly Jolly Christmas by Michael Bublé at 36, Like It's Christmas by the Jonas Brothers at 35, didn't expect that to become a quasi-standard, Please Come Home for Christmas by the Eagles at 34, and Wonderful Christmas Time by Paul McCartney at 33. And it's kind of a similar case with our gains, all of which coincidentally come from returns, and the only one that's not holiday music is 321 by Tucker Wetmore at 69. Blame Nashville Radio for this, good lord. The rest of our gains are as expected. Here Comes Santa Claus by Gene Autry at 32, Blue Christmas by Elvis Presley at 31, Santa Baby by Eartha Kitt at 30, Deck the Halls by Nat King Cole at 29, It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like Christmas by Perry Como at 24, Run Rudolph Run by Chuck Berry at 22, Jingle Bells by Frank Sinatra at 21, and White Christmas by Bing Crosby at 19. Now again, as I said, we've got a very slow week otherwise, with only 3 new arrivals, but you know, I feel like there is a world hit that is currently sitting right at the top of the bubbling under charts where I already feel a little late to the party here, but really should weigh in, from EsDeeKid, For Roz. Granted, my general view on being late to upcoming hip-hop acts is a lot more flexible than it used to be. I don't really beat up on myself over it. Hell, sometimes I can be late to the party only to realize the party is come and gone and I'm actually not missing all that much. And especially when it comes to the more hype-driven, less lyrical acts that chart, it's hard to feel like I do miss that much. A lot of them come and go really quick. Anyway, EsDeeKid's out of the UK. He's got an anonymous gimmick that has some people thinking he could be Timothée Chalamet of all people. He's racked up some solid charting momentum and lukewarm reviews, with this being the debut track from his debut album, and can I say that I understand the appeal, but I'm not especially impressed. Part of this is the blown out mix where the bass just swamps out everything against the gauzy synth, and the weirdly underdeveloped percussion. It perpetually annoys me, especially these days, that some of these rappers don't realize that mix dynamics will work just as well live as the SoundCloud bass boost. But what's more exasperating is that this doesn't even feel as explosive as it really could be to match EsDeeKid's harsh accent and slightly gargled delivery. It's been a while since we've heard hard rhyming this stark on the charts, and yet when you pair it with a solid flow, I'm actually way more tolerant of this than I used to be. Maybe it's some residual fondness for Nelly growing up. He did this all the time. I wouldn't say that EsDeeKid's content leaves much to be desired, drinking hard liquor, smoking raws, with a slightly more innovative flair in his flexing. Did not expect for him to claim that he's from Mordor on the post-chorus, or how he used to fake being a girl to extort cash through e-tricking online. That's kinda wild. But it creates a much grimier and quasi-realistic picture of Liverpool slums and his dogged pursuit of the come-up. Although the switch from Hennessy, cognac to bourbon, it's probably what endeared him to me most, especially as Canadians don't get liquor from the States anymore, and I like bourbon. So yeah, this is decent. Not sure where the next step, where he's gonna take within this sound or how he's gonna build on it. I'm at least mostly intrigued. We'll have to see. But now on to the new arrivals proper. Number 92, Gone, Gone, Gone by David Guetta, Teddy Swims, and Tones and I.
Gone, gone. I love you, drive me inside.
This feels feels like the bat signal to alert and horrify all the most online pop nerds nowadays. A producer who has long since lost his luster, a pop artist who isn't that good but who got way more online backlash than she probably deserved, and Teddy Swims, who is generally fine so long as he keeps away from the AI in order to cut corners. I guess what I can appreciate most is that there is not an obvious sample here from David Guetta, instead relying on a faded melody with a louder clatter of percussion backed up by a brass and strings arrangement, and then our two singers actually have pretty good chemistry. Tones and I has always had a lot of blaring volume and presence, but she's embraced more soul in her vocal runs and isn't nearly as nasal as she used to be, and that's a good balance alongside Teddy Swims for a song rooted in the exasperation of only seeming to like someone when they're gone in a bad relationship. If I've got problems with it, well, it's kind of all the song really is. It feels remarkably basic in its dynamics that it's trying to sell, which really reflects the limited effort on display with every cliched comparison in the lyrics. I mean, it's not terrible, it's certainly better than a lot of what David Guetta has done recently, but there is a reason why this is only charting when there's limited competition. All I'm saying. Number 86, Shake the Snow Globe by Gwen Stefani.
Cinnamon roll, ho, 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 oh, oh. I'll be underneath the mistletoe. Shake, shake, shake the snow globe. I'm going into spot cocoa.
Look, I don't want to make a big deal out of how it feels like Gwen Stefani's fallen off. She attracts more attention these days thanks to her marriage to Blake Shelton than any actual original material, and the less said about any of her modern political gestures, the better. Hell, I think the last time I really talked about her was a holiday song she did with Blake Shelton last year, where I opened up my review of the song with, "Remember when Gwen Stefani was interesting?" That's dire. So now with round 2, with her on her own this time, courtesy of being a goddamn Amazon exclusive that thankfully made it to YouTube. And can someone tell me what the hell this is even trying to be? The blaring brass that feels imported from 4 different songs, the jingle bells, the fake orchestra, the jaunty guitar rollick. The entire song structure feels like it's trying to mash together a lot of Christmas cliches without rhyme or reason, where she starts talking about lawn inflatables and tinsel in her hair, not giving Mrs. Claus enough credit, then sitting on Santa's lap at the mall like he's her therapist, all around not wanting to be alone during the holidays about a hook around shaking a snow globe and spiking her cocoa. It has the feel of someone being caught inside the chaos inside that snow globe and a modest nervous breakdown with nothing coming together, all of which has this plastic sheen of something built for peak consumerism and the sort of faux cutesy overworked mall dreck. It's the last thing I want to hear during the holidays. I'd say this is the easy lock for the worst of the week if it wasn't for number 85, Cowgirl by Parmalee.
Like a bag road, the way she fitted in them Levi's, make a man never wanna go home. I only came for a minute, now she make me wanna live it. Yeah, Southern charm ain't no joke. Thank God for the cowgirl. I fell in love with a cowgirl, and I ain't coming home.
Okay, let's be honest. Parmalee basically only exists at this point to fill up Nashville airplay when there's literally nothing else to push, often the absolute dregs of a given year. This is a band that's outstayed its welcome by over a decade, back when they made a lot of formless and forgettable bro country, with this song first coming out last January, and kind of funny I referenced bro country there, because this would have been antiseptic and bad back when that genre was a tangible trend. The blend of clunky drums and rickety drum machines, the choppy acoustics that have no texture as the electric guitars are painfully weak and buried at the back of the mix, no solid bass line even if it's trying to run on more of a dance groove with a big overprocessed sing-along vocals, and these lyrics, even by the traditional drooling over some hot girl standard, these are woeful. The first verse referencing a girl singing along with Morgan Wallen's Last Night, not exactly an attractive song in any goddamn way, made all the worse by calling her his 24-karat Palomino, and the hook referencing Body Like a Back Road by Sam Hunt, alongside the line, I only came for a minute, now she wanna make me live it. I mean, I know what he's trying to say, the implication's just worse. You could have framed that better. The best thing I can say is that the patter's kind of decent, but Parmalee exists to play to the lowest common denominator. I'll say it again, especially as Morgan Wallen himself had a charting hit called Cowgirl, where this is trying to snag any bit of search engine confusion. So yeah, it blows. Nashville, get rid of this anytime now. And yeah, that's all this week. Can't exactly pick the world hit for the best, so I guess Gone 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 by David Guetta, Teddy Swims, and Tones and I has that top spot. Whereas the worst, I was tempted to give it to Parmalee. The song blows, but that Gwen Stefani song is a migraine and a half. It hits all the worst notes for me when it comes to holiday music. Just sets my skin on edge. She had way further to fall to make it. Next week, yeah, it could well be even slower. I'm not exactly about to complain. Let's hope the music's better. Stay tuned for that. But until then, I'm Mark. You're watching Billboard Breakdown, affiliated with Spectrum Pulse. And I'll see you next time.